Guys, welcome to GGrated. We're at episode 48. I'm here with my co-host Gray. I am Gino. We got a great episode ahead of you today. What you got, Jay?
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about some gaming moments of the week. We're going to go into our gaming news and deals, and then we're going to talk about our main topic of the anime, 1995's Ghost in a Shell. Coming at you on this episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I like it.
Hello, welcome to GGrated. We hope you enjoy the show. Now here are the hosts.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for being here for another episode of GGrated podcast. As I said, this is season 2, episode 48. We are rocking and rolling with these things, man, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. We're getting a lot of information out there for everybody, and making it a regular occurrence. I do want to throw a shout out real quick, Gray, before you get rolling, kind of telling them what we're about. Is we do have a Facebook page. And we are now over 250 followers. So I'm going to give a little hand clap and say thank you all for all the followers, and we appreciate you.
Yes, thanks, everybody. That's really cool to see the interaction on there and to spread the word about some gaming fun with two rad dads named Gino and Gray.
That's right. That's right. Just trying to have some fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
On our off times. Just trying to have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
But how's your week been, man?
Week's been great, man. I've played a lot of Neon White. I've been playing that. I'm in progress of 100%ing that game. So I've been doing that. I've been working. It was my son's birthday today. His actual birthday was yesterday, but my youngest son, it was his birthday today. He turned 2. And
happy birthday, man.
Yeah,
I remember you telling me that.
It was really cool. So
did he have a good time?
Oh, he had a great time. It was really cool.
Could he tell it was his birthday?
I think he got it, man. Dude, he's really he's actually chaining together words and stuff and kind of knows what's going on. So he is there.
Did he turn 2 or 3?
He just turned 2. He turned 2 yesterday.
2. Okay.
Yeah, so we were doing that today, and he was riding his push bike, and he got a little electric four-wheeler, and he was doing all that stuff. He had the grandparents over, so we were having a big old time.
Dude, you did something like that with your other boy. You had like a little dirt bike,
electric
something like that,
dirt
right?
bike. I think he got for Christmas when he was like 3 or 4. So
man, I came over to his house, guys, back at Christmas time one time, close to there, and he was like, "Watch this, Mr. Eugene." So we go outside, and he's just like, "Whoom." Woom! I'm like, dude, that's impressive. He's like 3 years old on a dirt bike. I was like, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Josh's kid. You know, it's going to be. So he's a big dirt bike guy.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, we're going to go into our gaming moments of the week. But first, just to kind of let you know, I know we kind of delayed in this, but we do talk about gaming. We do talk about different tech that comes in and out of the businesses that they release. And we also talk about some movies as well. So we talk about that. And we also have now added anime. Yes. And our first anime on the show is going to be Ghost in a Shell, like Gray has talked about.
And it's really
which
cool.
We'll talk about towards the end.
It's really cool how we're bringing it in, too, because I'm a follower of anime. I'm like in and out of the new stuff. I'm a big fan of 90s anime, too. And Eugene is a big fan of the older stuff, so it's going to be cool to start him with things that he hasn't ever seen and then bring him into this new anime world and hopefully get him hooked on some amazing Japanese storytelling. So I'm excited for that.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you all about that towards in the show. But right now, let's go ahead and hit up our gaming moments of the week.
Yo. Who's going first?
Man, you go with it. Hit them up first, man.
Okay, so I have a couple of gaming moments. I want to mention a shout out real quick to me and my oldest boy. He's 5, and we were playing Splitgate. and having a ball doing it. And it's really cool. He's
I
getting
forgot
better.
about that game.
Yeah, it's cool because he plays it on the Steam Deck and I'm playing on my PC, and we're both playing together. He's on his mom's account and I'm on mine. You know, it's a free game, so we didn't have to buy it twice or anything. So and he's actually getting really good, man. He uses a controller. He uses this 8-bit do controller.
Oh.
And I'm actually using a PS4 controller on my PC. And we were kicking tail together, man. We were actually like shooting guys together, and he was getting kills. I was really impressed with him. So that was a really fun moment
Man, he's
today.
getting older, man. He's getting used to it. You've been training him all his life, man, and he's there now.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So, as far as like my own personal gaming moment, I would say playing Neon White, and there's a specific level where you kind of I'm just going to go into some moments that hit me. So the storytelling in this game is basically told in voice acting, and it'll bring up pictures on the screen. So it's kind of like a comic book, like an audio book, as far as the like different scenes go. It doesn't have actual like movies playing, but it has cut scenes that are pictures and audio. And the amount of storytelling that they've been able to fit in that has been really amazing. And I've been getting really engrossed in the story. And that combined with the rhythmic, upbeat gameplay, there's been so many moments that have really stuck out to me. One is when I was fighting a boss, which this isn't a spoiler, like the bad guy in the game is green. And I'm on this level right now where you're traveling all over the place, all over the map, and you're like interacting with green so that you can try to take him down. And you actually, this is the second time you fight him, I think. And there might be more, but that specific interaction where you're just unloading rocket launchers on this guy and having to jump from platform to platform while just unloading on it. It's been really fun. And there's been so many levels that could stick out to me as my gaming moment of the week, but I'm at close to the end of this game, and that was my particular moment where I'm like, man, they just leveled up the gameplay. Every level gets harder and harder, but not in a bad way. It progresses with your ability as you're learning to play this game. So it's scaled very well.
So it gets a little bit harder.
Dude, it gets harder, but it understands that you're going to get better at the game too, and it doesn't try to go past that. Like it's just so balanced.
Did you like the cut scenes? Like, was that the biggest like moment? Like, you seen that actually happen?
Yeah, just the storytelling and how you're falling in love with the characters and how they've been able to do this with such it's like an almost strange story. It's real like anime. It has that same feeling to me, and I like anime. So I would say my gaming moment of the week has been getting close to finishing up Neon White, and I can't wait to tell more about it when I do 100% the game. So
y'all keep checking on our Facebook, checking on our Discord as well at GGrated. When Gray gets done with that game, he's going to 100% that game. He's almost there. He keeps telling me he will drop. More than likely, going to do a video for him, correct? And maybe drop something for him.
I'm going to drop
a
something
little
about
review.
It.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome. Y'all make sure y'all look out for that, man. And man, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you're having fun with that game, and that was kind of part of your gaming moment of the week. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
So.
What you got?
But man, I got something kind of simple. It's kind of with the boy as well. As well, I was thinking I don't really have much for myself. I've been playing some NCAA. I'm still only one loss down, so I'm number 3 ranked. So I'm still in the money pot. But so I'm still doing okay. But other than that, my boy has been playing the Switch, and I kind of want to show everybody what he's been playing on. So I showed before everybody how he has. How I got this new cracked Switch that comes in, makes it kind of like a Steam Deck.
It looks a lot like a Steam Deck. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. He's been playing Super Smash Brothers. Some Super Smash Brothers. I keep pressing all kinds of buttons, guys. But he's been playing this stuff constantly, like every day. For some reason, I just hand him this thing. and then he goes and sits on the couch and stuff, and he'll start playing it. Well, first he started off with Paw Patrol, and he got really good at it. And he got bored with it. So then he switched over to like Sonic. He switched over to a Mario. He's been playing all these games, Ninja Turtles. Now he's on to, and he found Super Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch.
That's great.
And man, let me tell you, he has been trying every character. He's been talking about them. He's been doing combos and moves. I'm like super impressed as well. You know, he's probably not on the level as your boy, because I know your boy's a little bit older, but my chef is getting to the point where he's asking to play that Switch more and more and more. And that's why I keep telling you, like, hey man, you got to get your boy a Switch, man. We got to get these boys playing with each other. But that's been kind of my gaming moment. I sat down with him. He had Pikachu on there, and he actually won a best 2 out of 3 fight.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so funny that he uses Pikachu, because that was my main when I was playing Smash Brothers on the N64.
Mine's Kirby. Mine is Kirby.
Okay.
It's Kirby, dude. Like,
That's cool.
So I like, because he changes into this sword, and you can smash when you're flying up high. You can change into the sword and smash down.
Yes. Yeah, I liked Pikachu because he does that move where he's like zip, zip, zip. Where he can zip across the screen. That was so cool.
Yeah, dude. So he's getting really into Super Smash Brothers, and that was kind of like an at-home moment of like,
dude,
this is pretty cool. That was my gaming moment.
We should play it tonight on your. You have a bunch of N64 games, don't you?
I think so. I
might have that. And I can input through Parsec, and we can play that together. That'd be fun.
We've done that before, guys. If you check out early videos, you can see
real early
the early videos, guys. So y'all keep in mind before we figure this stuff out. But we actually had some NBA Jam played and stuff like we need to play some NBA Jam.
Yeah.
NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz. Dude, I could play that every day. I love that game.
But we digress, guys. That's our gaming moments of the week. If you have your own gaming moment of the week, great. Tell them what they can do.
You can reach out to us at ggratedchannel@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Facebook. You can drop a comment in YouTube and tell us about your gaming moment of the week, and we will read it on the show.
With that being said, let's jump into the gaming news and deals.
Let's do it while I plug in my headset. Let's do it. I like that.
Have y'all noticed we've got a whole new revamped podcast, whole new screen so you can see us a little bit better, whole new music. We worked very hard this week to try to bring things a little bit more modern and up to date. Let us know in the comments below if you like it or you dislike it, you want us to kind of go back. I'm sure we can figure a way to go back.
Sure.
You know what? There's no looking back. There's no looking back. We're not. But let us know what you think.
Yep.
Gaming news and deals. Great. What do you have first for us let's go with the deals this time first. What you think?
Gray's gaming picks as far as deals go. And as always, I'm using gg.deals, and myself, I use Steam for my primary gaming source. So this is what I'm going to be looking at is on Steam. Okay. And the deals that I have chosen, there's a bunch on here, but the deals that I have chosen is called Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It's a game that I want to get. I've actually watched it be played on the Node channel on YouTube. And right now it's a historic low, 75% off. It is $3.74. Basically, you're trying to disarm bombs in this game, and you're having to communicate with your team in order to get them to disarm the bomb. It looks really fun. It looks like it would be lots of fun with friends, and it's one that I think I'm going to pick up for just a few dollars. So that is my first pick, is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. My next pick is a game that actually beat when it first came out. It's called Dying Light, guys. This game's been out a long time, but right now it's 80% off. It's only $3.99. $3.99 is a pretty smoking deal for Dying Light. It's a zombie game. Zombie survival as far as you...
I'm going to add that to my cart while you speak of that.
There you go.
You said,
you find different weapons, and you can upgrade them with like different abilities using things that you found in the environment. There is guns too, but really fun gameplay. There's a lot of like parkour type things that you do when you traverse the environment, and the zombies are really cool too and really scary. It's a really fun game. It looks really good, and I remember it
Guys,
being
for
kind of shorter.
$3.99, man.
Yeah, I remember it being kind of a shorter game. They might have rectified that by now. I played it when it first came out, so there might have been updates and different kind of gameplay, but it's hard to beat.
Is it an open world or what? Because I'll be
it's
honest,
open world.
I've never played it. Is it an open world? Is it a story aspect to it? Is it offline? Is it a multiplayer? What can you just... I know it's an older game, but just very quickly, can you just let people what they would begin themselves into?
Sure. So it's a vast open world where you can roam the city and use parkour to scale every building and reach remote areas. There's creative combat. You engage in gory combat and discover limitless options to confront your enemies and use the environment paired with various weapon types and abilities to gain an advantage. There's a day and night cycle, so things get pretty hairy when nightfall hits, and there's plenty of secrets to be had.
Is that safe houses?
Yes, there is safe houses, and there is a story and everything, but it also, this is what's really cool, it has a 4-player co-op. So you can tackle the story campaign together and see how far you'll go as a team. And the main story supposedly is like 17 hours long. The main plus extra is 35 hours long. And to complete everything is 62 hours, is what this is saying.
Josh, why are we not? We talk about the co-ops. Everybody, I don't know if you checked out our stream. You can check it out. I'll leave a little tag up here on YouTube. But of Chained Together, that was hilarious.
Dude,
that was fun.
Chained Together was great.
We streamed that. That was great. But why have you not told me about maybe doing a co-op on this, man? Because this would be a fun story co-op game I've been dying to do with you.
Bro, I'm totally down. I think this would be a great co-op game for us to get into.
$3.99.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. It's like when we played, and dude, that would be another gaming moment of the week. Would be Chained Together. We had a lot of fun. Y'all really need to go watch that stream.
We didn't even mention that, dude.
Yeah, it was so funny, dude. We were just laughing.
Just real quick, guys. It's kind of funny whenever you think you're on the same say wavelength. I guess you could say the same page, and you go to jump. And Josh is just like, huh? or it's not just Josh all the time. Me, I'll be like, huh? You know, looking around. He's like, I'm jumping. Wait. And it's a fun time. It kind of get as intense once you figure it out. You can go from your last save spot. You know, your last spot.
Yeah, we thought we had to start over the map all over again when we fell. So we did that actually quite a few times before I figured out that on this particular mode we were playing is I could beam us back to our last highest point. So that made things a lot better. But it was really cool.
Well, guys, let me talk to you about that's some awesome deals. If you like those deals, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you have any deals that we have that we might have missed, make sure you let us know. You can always email us or leave us a comment down below on YouTube. All right. With that being said, I do want to go over a couple things for the gaming news. There's been something that's been kind of just hitting the wave, man. I mean, a huge wave of Black Myth Wukong has been just the biggest thing lately.
Yes.
So it's actually went over 1 million concurrent players on Steam. And it's on PlayStation 5 and it's on Steam, PC. Is this game, and this game has been more like a single player, and they always say single player games are dying. I don't think they are.
No,
not at all. But you face all these bosses pretty much, and it's simple. You have a bunch of elements of fighting and stuff, but it's an action RPG rooted in Chinese mythology. China is killing this game. They're actually buying PlayStations right now just to play this game in China, which is huge. They said they sold 6 of them. That's what they said.
6? What now?
6. Yes. There was a report of 6 PlayStations being sold in China, and they made a big deal about it.
They probably sold way more than that.
Because, it's Nintendo. It's all Nintendo in China.
That's Japan that you're thinking
No,
of.
China too.
Oh, really?
It's China too. Yeah, it's huge in China. So anyways, it's one to venture in the challengers and marvels ahead to uncover the obscure truth behind the veil of a glorious legend from the past. You face a lot of bosses, like 50-something bosses throughout this game, like big giant bosses. They say it's amazing. It's actually runs pretty well. Over 1 million concurrent players and climbing. It has not slowed down. It has been released. I'm not going to talk much about it. I have not played this game yet, but it has been released. Make sure you pick that up on PS5 and PC. Okay, and
you know what's funny? So the mythology that this is based off of, I believe there's been movies about the Monkey Man too, and I believe that either Jackie Chan or Jet Li has played the Monkey Man before in a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look that up, yeah. So Jet Li was Monkey King on one of the movies called the Forbidden Kingdom was the name of the movie. Yep. I knew I remembered it. The Monkey Man.
Forbidden Kingdom.
The Forbidden Kingdom with Jet Li.
All right, let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah.
That's it?
Maybe. Just pull it up.
Yeah,
real
Jackie
quick.
Chan. Yeah, that's it.
Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Yeah, it says Jackie Chan at the top left.
Crap. I remember this now. So it's about a kid and he goes maybe through a portal or something. Yeah. Sorry, this just like jumped out of my head and I was like, wait a second, I've seen this Monkey King before. Anyways.
Gotcha. Hey, gotcha. We digress here, man. That's what we do, like we start thinking. But so that game right there, great game so far, is what I'm being told. Overwhelming positive on Steam. So check that game out. The second news comes out of ROG Ally on July 23rd, 2024. They released the ROG Ally X, which is a newer version of the ROG Ally. So a couple things I would say is first, let's talk about both devices, what they bring to the table. You had the original ROG Ally, okay, was a game changer when it launched in 2023. It offered a powerful AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme CPU, a 7-inch screen, 1080p, and had Windows 11 native on there, okay? But now we have the ROG Ally X, which promises to take things up a notch. Design-wise, the ROG Ally X in the original ROG Ally look quite similar at first glance. They both have a sleek handheld form factor, but the Ally X comes in a new black colorway while the original is white. The Ally X is slightly larger, weighing in at 1.49 pounds. To the original's 1.34. So it's not that much difference when it comes to weight. Okay?
Ooh, but it's a lot more expensive, isn't it?
Yes. So now let's get into both models. Okay.
Yeah.
Both models feature the same AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor. So there's not anything buffing on the engine. Okay. But the ROG Ally X ups the ante with 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. Compared to the original, instead of 24 gigs, it's 16 gigs of RAM and 512. So they up the storage and they up the RAM pretty much. This means multitasking and more storage for your games. One of the biggest improvements in the ROG Ally X is the battery life. The new model, which that was a huge deal, if you remember that, Josh, that was a sticking point of the ROG Ally. It just drained battery completely. Very short time. The new model boasts a large battery, which translates to longer gaming sessions without needing to plug in and recharge. The fan system keeps the device cooler, so they have a better fan system inside of it as well. This is the big kicker, what Josh was just saying a second ago. The original was, I believe, listed at $699. The ROG Ally X is $100 more at $799 for the ROG Ally X.
Whoa.
So you get a little bit additional RAM, a little bit additional storage, maybe a little bit better battery life is what they're saying because it's a bigger battery. Is that worth the extra $100 and is it worth $799, Josh? What's your take on that?
Not for me, because I have the base model Steam Deck that we've modded with a bigger SD card, or not SD card, but what do you call it? My mind's blanking here. Not a hard drive, but
SSD.
SSD,
right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And and the screen and stuff, when it comes to a screen that's small, it doesn't really matter to me if you like upscale the res a little bit or even go like OLED. I'm sure it's nice and everything.
I've heard it's nice. I never experienced
Yeah,
it, but
it's
I've heard it's really
gotta be, but the price to like that, it just doesn't
just get a PC.
justify it to me. Yeah. I really love my Steam
Desktop
Deck.
PC.
It looks
because
great.
it is a PC.
It plays great, so it's like it's that kind of deal. Like, but if this was like a huge screen, of course I would want higher res. You know, that makes a huge difference. But I don't know. Tomato.
I think the way the Steam Deck feels and all that, and I know this ain't a Steam Deck conversation that we're having with this, I understand, but you cannot mention the ROG Ally X or the ROG Ally without mentioning the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
And the following with the Steam Deck, the ergonomics for the Steam Deck, the screen, the OLED, they're the only ones still with an OLED screen still on there. It's just, even though it might not be as powerful, they're so it's so optimized for the games that it runs better. And Windows 11 is just not working for that machine for the ROG Ally. So, but guys, there are people that like Windows, that like doing that, and they love the ROG Ally. So, hey, you have a little bit more power with it. If you do have one of these, let us know what you think. Let us know how it is in the comments. Let me know if it's worth it. So, with that being said, that will be our gaming news and deals, guys.
And the good news just keeps coming.
There you go. We're going to go into the anime section and kind of talk about this Ghost in a Shell.
Let's do
you
it.
ready for
I'm
it?
excited.
Well,
It just keeps going.
what? I just keep giving news,
Just
man.
hit
I'm
buttons.
sorry.
For our main topic is Ghost in a Shell, 1995.
Should I hit this one more time?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
hit it one more time and then hit the Discord buttons too. The boo-doo.
There you go.
Ghost in a Shell, the 1995 action anime movie directed by Mamoru Oshii, is set in a futuristic world where cybernetics and artificial intelligence are prevalent. The story follows Major Motoko Kusanagi, a cyborg worker from Section 9, a covert operations unit of the Japanese National Public Safety Commission. The plot revolves around Section 9's pursuit of a mysterious hacker known as the Puppet Master, who can manipulate people by hacking into their cyber brains. As Major Kusanagi investigates the Puppet Master, she begins to question her own identity and humanity, pondering the nature of consciousness and what it means to have a ghost or soul in a cybernetic body. The philosophical exploration of self-awareness and boundaries between human and machine are central themes of the movie. Eventually, well, that goes into spoilers. We're not going into that yet, but eventually things go down. And dude, first and foremost, I want to mention that I watched this movie when I was like young, like really young. And it's an anime that's got boobies in it.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
It's an anime that's got boobies in it.
Boobs.
A ton of boobies. But it's done in a very tasteful way. It's not like over sexualized or anything like that. You know, it's more artistic. Yeah, I don't think it's sexualized. No, because it's just boobs.
What's the
they're
reasoning
not doing anything.
But what's the reasoning of doing that, though?
I think it's just showing.
This is a hot take. I think this is a very hot take.
I think it's just showing nakedness and vulnerability of the human condition. I don't think it's showing like, ooh, look at my boobies, I'm sexy. Like I think it's meant to be more raw and real. Mentions it. Yeah, so it's like I think it's coming from that aspect of mixture of humanity and machine. But I will say, when I was younger, I thought this was the coolest thing, and I do not remember it going as deep as it did with the things that it talked about and trying to get all philosophical about your soul and all of that stuff. And I was like, oh wow, this is a lot deeper than I thought it was. So that's just kind of my take on it. It hit different watching it as an adult now.
So yeah, I take the other approach because I've never seen this, guys, and I've like Josh said at the beginning, he's kind of told you we kind of got different takes on these things. I feel like me and him are, how can you say, he knows the newer stuff. He keeps up with it. I keep up with the older stuff in the 90s. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm always watched. So when I watched this, it kind of had that style. So I was instantly drawn into it because that's what I'm used to watching. So I have to say that it got really deep. At first, I was just like, man, I'm so confused. What is going on here? I'm just being
Yeah.
honest with y'all. I'm like, oh, what is this? Like they had some cool stuff. I remember calling Josh and being like, Josh, man, they got the gunfire in this thing, man. It's awesome. Like when they're
Mhm.
reloading, they're putting the magazine in.
Yeah.
Like the girl, which is called Major, she's just like she's a total badass. I'll just be
Totally.
honest.
She's a
And I'm like,
believable lead that
yes,
also happens to be a female. You believe it,
a female,
and it's real, and like that to me is a staple for what a lead should be, as far as a strong female. It was really good.
But it also goes into when you talk about her and stuff, like she has a lot of issues that you can tell, and they slowly bring that on, like almost too slow.
Yeah.
But then when you hit the middle of the show, it really just takes off, man. And then some of the scenes that they show, the deep scenes that they show, it's just really nice, like we'll go towards the end, and I kind of speak more about that in reference to the video, the way it's strolling, and the way it's showcasing some of the elements of the show.
There's a lot of scenes where
it's a lot deeper.
Yeah,
there's just gunfire. It's not just a gunfire show.
So there's 2 times in particular where you kind of get a break from the action and the dialogue, to where they just like show scenes of everyday life. They show scenes of the city, and there's a lot of world building, and it adds this really like melancholy tone to the whole movie. That's really interesting, like how they try to do the
music is great too, man.
Yeah, really great music.
It's deep music.
And specifically the art style and everything, and the art was beautiful, and that's why I wanted you to watch this version. There's another version of this same movie where they added a lot more computerized like imagery and graphics and everything.
Yeah.
And it didn't look right. Like they needed to leave it alone in this 1995 style. And there's a
For our
few
listeners,
of my favorite.
it kind of reminds me of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, see,
right?
So you can see where they borrowed a lot from this, right?
Yes.
Like totally.
Yes.
This
They're
came out
big
way
time.
before that. And there might have been books or art or something that might have even been out before this.
You know who else borrowed from it?
Who's that?
What I've read and found out? The Matrix.
Oh, The Matrix. I did hear about that. Yeah.
Because at one point of the scene, they actually tied into each other from the back of the neck.
Uh-huh.
And that's actually taken from The Matrix.
Yep.
And they asked the producer or director of this anime, hey, how do you feel about, them taking that and using that? And they said, I think everybody takes a little bit from each other.
Yeah,
And that's
for
how
sure.
it's supposed to be.
That's a really great response, because I think The Matrix made it their own, because they had a port that went through the back of your head, and in Ghost in a Shell there was like 4 prongs that went in the back of your neck that supposedly led into your cyber brain. And that's one thing I wish they would have went into a little bit deeper, of them taking human brains and making them cyber brains.
Yes, that was the most confusing part. Is you realize, well, you never realize, is she full? Is Major like
she's
a human
full,
and all that?
She's a full cyborg with a
but
human
she has
brain.
elements of human.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a human brain. She has elements of a human brain inside the cyborg brain.
Okay.
So it's not a just complete human brain. Like she's different than all the others. All the other cyborgs and all that stuff, they have actual human brains.
Well, I think they have cyber brains that they converted from human into a cyber brain. Like even the guy that didn't have any upgrades, the one that was the cop that had the revolver.
Yes,
human. Yeah, I think his only upgrade was his brain, so that he could speak and everything through his mind. And that's the thing that's a bit confusing, is like how they differentiated between human brains, cyber brain, all of that stuff.
Because Major, guys, just to let you know, so there's 3 partners. They have Major, which is the female. They're all part of this police force, this cyber force. And you have this other big guy that has like white eyes, pretty much, caps over his eyes. He's like a cyborg, full on cyborg. Then you have another guy that seemed more like human, like he was a normal human. And there was a moment in the movie where they're riding in the van about to go do a mission, and he asked, "Why'd you pick me?" And Major says it's because we can't be predictable. Cyborgs and AI and all that can be predictable and they will know what you do, but humans are unpredictable. I felt like that's very deep,
It
man.
is
Like,
deep because he was actually a good detective in the movie, and he figured out things that they didn't, as far as like the pressure plates,
ghost coming
of the
in?
car, all of that stuff.
yeah, the pressure plates and all that. Yeah.
So, like, what do you say we break this down scene by scene
Let's
and
go.
kind of break it down some? Okay, so the opening scene is the assassination. The film opens in a technologically advanced future city with Major Matako Kusanagi, a highly skilled cyborg agent from Section 9, observing a political meeting. She is on a covert mission to prevent an illegal arms transaction. As tensions rise, she uses her cybernetic abilities to infiltrate the building and assassinate a diplomat to stop the transaction. So she pretty much jumps off this building, goes invisible, and is able to be outside by this window and freaking blows this dude's top half off. I don't know what she was using, but you saw like blah.
Out of nowhere, you saw his rib cage and all that stuff.
Was
I was like,
wild.
oh man,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
That's
and
off
that's
the
when you
bat.
first see the cloak, that she wears all the time to make herself
And
invisible.
what is so funny is I haven't seen this scene in so many years, and I've watched the live action movie that came out in 2017. And to me, the live action made it a lot cooler. In the live action one, she comes through the window and she's invisible, and she like runs up the wall and is freaking shooting people. It was really cool.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you got to see it, man. You got to see it. But still,
she moves so fast. Major is so quick and fast. So I believe it when you say that on the live action. They had to make sure they had to get that right. I feel like, or the movie would have been all off.
But that whole scene of her, doing the like free dive off the building and her boobies are out, kind of like that whole thing is so classic. Like, that is a classic anime.
Jump off the building, swan dive off the building.
It was sweet.
So,
it was sweet, and then
but it makes her automatically be
down,
a badass from the beginning.
Oh yeah, and then when she's going down and the dude looks out of the window and she takes her like hand and she goes like that and then she turns all the way invisible. It was like, like great opening.
Like it's
to
about
a
to
movie.
happen. It's about to happen.
Great opening to a movie.
I agree with you on that one. I agree.
So after this, you get the introduction to Section 9. After the mission, Kusanagi returns to Section 9 headquarters, where we are introduced to her team. Bato, her loyal and cybernetically enhanced partner, Chief Aramaki, the head of Section 9, and Togasa, a newer member with minimal cybernetic enhancements. Section 9 is a covert task force specialized in counterterrorism and security threats. And it's hard to not compare this to the live-action movie, and I think the live-action movie nailed the characters. I mean, the actors that they picked to go along with this, it was really, really cool, especially the guy that's not as enhanced. His name is Togasa.
The human?
The human looks like the one that they chose for the live action looks identical. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to keep mentioning the newer movie, but it's like, it's hard not to compare.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it yet. Now I got to watch it. And I thought about I was looking, they're like, hey, it's $3.99 on Amazon. So I'm like, I don't want to, pay, but I want to see it now because of this.
And in some of the newer, so there's a bunch of different versions of Ghost in the Shell. There's some like newer ones that they actually have like, episodes. They have an actual series of Ghost in the Shell. It's awesome. And they have a sniper that like one of his eyes.
I saw the series. It's kind of more cartoonish though.
Yeah. Definitely.
I watched about 2 or 3 episodes, like just looking at it, zooming through it a little bit. It's on Netflix, I believe, guys.
So there's a few different ones. You probably watched, you probably watched the one that was real computer animated and everything.
Yes, it looked like an Xbox 360.
That one sucks.
Graphics.
That one sucks.
It's terrible.
There's some other ones that look like anime and are really, really good. Really good storytelling. They used to come on They used to come on Adult Swim and all that stuff. They were really great. And there's some other, you didn't see the other guy that was over the computer and stuff, and he was doing all that like hacking and everything. They didn't.
Yeah, with his fingers.
They didn't bring him into this until later on in the movie, but he plays a bigger role in the series. You know, they kind of introduce all the characters more.
Okay.
Like, to me, this movie could have been hours long or made into like different parts, because I would love for them to explore this world with this type of story and this type of like 90s atmosphere. But you can only do so much in a movie, and this wasn't a long one at all. This was like an hour and a half or something. So.
Hour and a half. That's it. So, I know we're going into the next scene, but the thing, if I have to say, the thing that kind of draws your attention the most, and I know we keep mentioning it, is the atmosphere in the city, in the music. So you kind of get immersed into this from the beginning. I didn't know what was going on. Guys, I didn't know what was going on,
dude. It is,
but
very
I still
confusing.
kept watching. I still kept watching because the world was just so beautiful. It was awesome, and this girl, and I keep saying it, was a badass. And I was like, oh, dude, she's like unloading guns, magazines, talking this mess, like, hey, follow me, do what I say, and you'll live, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so if you look at this show and you start watching at the beginning, I know we're kind of going through it. Just make sure you give it a chance, because it all makes sense kind of towards the ends. It makes sense as best as you can say it makes sense, right?
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that kind of turns you off a little bit is the voice acting. It was a little bit flat. You know, the voice acting wasn't the greatest, and it wasn't the worst I've ever heard either. But, you know, that's just one thing to keep in mind. Yeah. It was more of a thing of its time. You know, I don't think voice acting is what it is now. You know, there was still some good stuff in the 90s, but, you know, this one was just a bit off to me after hearing the like overly exaggerated acting that they have nowadays. Yeah. But anyways, we'll go to the next thing, is the Puppet Master's crimes. Section 9 investigates a series of cyber crimes linked to a mysterious hacker called the Puppet Master. This hacker has been manipulating people by hacking into their ghosts, a term for consciousness in the cybernetic world, and using them for various illegal activities. One victim is a garbage man who believes he's trying to contact his estranged wife, only to find out his memories have been implanted and manipulated.
So let me take the lead on this one just real quick. Go ahead. So I remember seeing this scene, and I'm like thinking, where does this garbage man kind of play into this whole thing? And I didn't really understand what they're talking about the Puppet Master. I think the thing that confused me the most was they manipulating these people. Like, why is he manipulating this Puppet Master? Why? First off, who is he?
Yeah.
Right? You say Puppet Master. Who is he? Is he an actual person doing this hacking, which I think is what they originally thought in the movie? Right. Or is he some kind of like AI or something like that is controlling people? And I'm wondering, like, how are they controlling this guy? And then I start thinking in my head, well, maybe he's got some things implanted into him, you know, some AI, something that makes him do something better, because this is like the future, right? So everybody probably has all these upgraded parts on them. But he starts flipping out. He's talking to this guy. And then it's just that whole scene. I felt like you can cut that whole thing and the movie still goes on. It was unnecessary.
It was a bit confusing. What it comes down to is the garbage man, his brain had been hacked by this entity and implanted with different memories to give him the drive to go and do these different crimes that he was doing, you know. But
why though? What's the reason for that? So tell me the reason.
So he was doing it for his ex-wife and his daughter that he thought he had, but he didn't have. I forget the reason why.
I'm not asking that. What I'm asking is, why did they pick him? Why him, and why did he do these crimes? Why did he make the garbage man do these crimes?
Maybe because he had access. Maybe because he was doing these different stops.
See, that doesn't make any sense.
So so they did it because he would be traveling from place to place, and maybe he wouldn't be found out. because, he was moving on the route as a garbage man, and he was making calls along the way. So I think that's why he was chosen.
Who's
to
the
do
guy at the
certain thing.
bar that he talked to? That he was so
I don't know. See,
in love with
that part's confusing. I think he
said
was
to
just
guys he
hacked and he
talks-
was implanted with that memory.
He talks
maybe.
to a guy at a bar, guys.
Mhm.
Not to try to give too much away, but he talks to a guy at a bar, and he's talking to his coworker about him
Mhm.
and saying this guy's a good guy, blah blah blah. It's so much so that when police get on him, like he knows they're looking for him for some reason, he's sacrificing his life pretty much to warn that guy that the police are coming after him.
Yeah, that part was pretty
And
confusing.
I was like, why is he laying out his life for this guy that he met at the bar? That
that
whole
was
thing,
confusing.
I'm telling you, could have just been cut out.
Yeah, but the part that should not have been cut out was the fight scene and all that stuff that this led to.
Oh, no.
Okay,
That
so
was
like
awesome.
one of my favorite parts of the movie is they get in a battle. So they're after the garbage man, and this other dude drives up. I don't remember like why or how this guy was there, but I think he was there to get something from the garbage man, maybe. I don't remember.
That's the guy again.
Yeah. So the guy shows up, and I believe this guy might be hacked too, but the dude loads up these like armor rounds in a submachine gun, and you watch him plant his feet. He goes, and his legs and everything pump up with muscles. And he's holding himself there and just unloads, and it like moves his whole body back. Yeah. And you see the bullets hit this car, this armored car, and just put dents all in. And it's like, oh crap!
Yeah.
And like he's not
the
supposed to be
animation on the bullet strikes is amazing.
Yeah, and his body like moving, and the recoil from the gun and all that. You feel every impact. It was so cool, man. So cool.
Yeah. So I know after that, you gotta go into the fight, the actual fight in the water, man. You have to go into the fight in the water, which is the best part of it all, I think.
Yeah,
just a slow motion, just
iconic scene, definitely
iconic scene. So this guy that they're chasing throughout the whole city, okay, he's got a cloak as well, just like Major, like we talked about at the beginning on the first segment, where she kills that politician. I guess you can call him politician, right? When she was cloaked. Well, this guy has a cloak, so she's very interested, but you got to remember, she's not interested. She's interested for the job to try to find the puppet master, but she's also interested for her selfish reasons of like, hey, how's this guy might be like me? If this is the puppet master, I want to talk to him. I want to ask him, maybe he's more like me. He can tell me who I am, like she is got other way because she's trying to figure out who she is. Is she human? Is she cyborg?
Yeah.
Where does she fit into place at?
She's
right.
having
so you have
an
to remember,
existential crisis. Like she's trying to find out her.
And I
her
think at
purpose
this
of
moment, yes. And I think at this moment is when it starts making that turn where you start realizing that's what she wants. Right.
Yep.
Like she's on a mission on herself.
Yep.
And I think at one point I forget the detective's name. That works with Major, but he even says something's wrong with her. Bato starts wondering at some point she's not acting right.
Yep.
But going back to the water scene,
so cool.
Major goes out there and catches up with this guy, and it's like a flooded Bucky's parking lot. What's a big parking lot?
That's kind of it looks like some sort of flooded overlook of the city. It's crazy.
Flooded,
looking.
like it's like ankle deep, maybe. At the most.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole football field.
And she's in
it's
full
like
predator mode, baby. Like
Dude,
she looks
full
like
predator.
the predator
So
coming
she's
out.
cloaked. And the coolest thing of the whole movie is like she comes in and she's like slow motion.
She grabs this dude
just,
and his arm twists and it breaks, and then he does a bunch of backflips out of the way.
Yeah.
And then she rolls up and she freaking roundhouse kicks the brakes
just
off
slow
this
motion,
guy.
just
Yeah.
And you see like the blood kind of coming out, but the crazy thing is like he said, is she's so strong that his ankles are just like you see it twisting with the in the pants. Like you don't actually see the skin and all that, but you see the pants and all that, and the ankles just twisting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then she roundhouse kicks him. And I just thought that was the coolest.
It was so cool.
to me.
And the amount of like how cool the art style was as far as how the technology was, because she comes out of a cloak and she's got that like clear thing over her face, and she hits a button and it like goes bzzz and it opens up. Like it had something to do. She's wearing like this skin tight thing that is able to cloak her body, I guess.
And Section 9 is the only one with cloaks, by the way, right?
I guess
what
so.
I heard at the end of the movie. Yeah. So
that was really cool. So after this iconic scene, you get her existential crisis is what they kind of go into, that where she's on the boat, she's kind of floating in the water.
Yep.
Major Kusanagi frequently reflects on her existence and identity. As a cyborg with a full artificial body, her only connection to humanity is her ghost. She questions what it means to be human and if her consciousness is still authentic. These contemplations are shown in scenes where Kusanagi dives into the ocean, symbolizing her search for meaning. So her and Bato have a talk on this boat, and they go back and forth, being real, philosophical and such. And
Bato is very off-standing with her too now. Yeah, like he's not liking this, and he's like he don't want to hear any of this stuff.
Yeah, and
so when she's kind of bringing it up,
you can tell like maybe he loves her, dude, because when they first interact,
he does.
And
he does.
When she's naked-ish out in the water like that, he puts his coat over her so that she's not just out there naked.
That could be considered gentleman too.
Yeah,
though.
But then there's also one scene where she's on the boat and she's getting naked, and he looks over and he makes sure that he doesn't look, like he's trying to respect her and like honor her.
Yeah.
And there's a few times in the movie where he does things like that, where you just kind of get the sense that if he doesn't love her, he really cares about her a lot.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I kind of got the sense that he really cares about her more like a little sister.
Sure.
But I can see where somebody can say that, hey, he cares about her that way, you know, because I mean, when you share those moments with people, man, even life or death moments and stuff like that.
Sure.
I think that's kind of a human element that he's kind of feeling there of he cares about her. And I think it comes full tuition towards the end of the show.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think.
So after this, we go to the capture of the puppet master's body. Section 9 discovers a female cyborg body similar to Kusanagi's being constructed in a cybernetics facility. The body is then hit by a car, and the consciousness inside starts communicating. Section 6, another government agency, intervenes and claims the body, declaring it a hostile entity. However, Section 9 learns that this entity is the puppet master. So they basically trapped the puppet master inside of this body that was at this certain facility, and it got out, and then it got captured by Section 9.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there so it can make a little bit better sense. Is Section 6, right? Or is it Section 9? It's Section 6 that did this. They 2501 was the project 2501.
Yep, that's right.
And they made this puppet master.
They made an AI basically that became aware.
Yes, and this is the point I really wanted to hit on this whole show, is how crazy and how relevant is this point in our real life right now, Josh?
Dude, that's wild. I haven't even thought about it. It's pretty relevant.
Not think about that? Can you not think about that when you watch this? Because I was like, okay, they developed this tech to try to overtake. Yes. Yeah. They try to develop this tech to overtake the world, right? To overtake the other sections. And then it gained a consciousness.
By how? How did it gain a consciousness? What did they say in the movie? It gained one because it was diving into all this information. It was overloaded with information, and somewhere along the way it became sentient. And that's what we're doing with all this AI. We're giving it all this information. Oh my God, dude! Did we just figure out AI?
Yes, we did. But I'm telling you though, it was like a, oh my God, like this guy gained this puppet master gained consciousness. So they, at that point, it would be just like any big company. Like think of Section 6 as like a Microsoft, guys. Microsoft does this to overtake Apple and all this stuff to try to push AI the best. AI gets a consciousness. Oh my goodness, I got to back up at this point. This is getting dangerous, right? That always happens. You go and you push until it's like, oh, it's too late to push back, right? It's done. So they put the Puppet Master into, I guess, a cyborg kind of body. I guess you can say to trap it, like you said, right?
Yeah.
What I don't understand, maybe you can explain this too, is why the Puppet Master escapes and starts doing all this havoc, right? Hacking people and all this stuff. But why does the Puppet Master stand in front of a vehicle? Is it to get closer to Major?
I think
is that the only way to get to Major?
I think they go into that is it was trying to get closer to her to merge with her because it found something that was more like him.
Spoiler with that.
Yeah. Sorry. We're going to get there. That's like
we're going to get
coming
there.
up.
We're going to get there.
So next is the showdown and confrontation. Section 6 attempts to retrieve the Puppet Master, leading to a conflict with Section 9. Kusanagi and Bato pursue the Puppet Master's abductors. They locate the Puppet Master in an abandoned building where Kusanagi battles a spider tank to reach him. Bato arrives just in time to save Kusanagi from the tank.
Time out. I'm sorry. I know I'm cutting you off again. I'm sorry. But you mentioned
good.
spider tank. Can I just say something?
Uh-huh.
You know what I thought of? And I know that you're going to get. I'm counting on you on this, okay?
Uh-huh.
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Oh, yeah, baby. Metal Gear Solid 1.
Tell me what I'm thinking. Tell me what I'm thinking of Metal Gear Solid 1. End of the game.
End of the game, you fight the Metal Gear, right?
Yes. Uh-huh. And does that not look like a little Metal Gear?
Oh, it does, dude. She even has the outfit that looks a lot like Snake. That's crazy.
I mean, okay, I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking of the whole time. I was like, dude, this is like Metal Gear.
I wonder when Metal Gear came out. When did Metal Gear come out?
Yes, that's what I'm wondering. I wonder if Metal Gear even took something from this.
PS1.
It was 1999. I'm going to say 99.
I think it was. I think you're exactly right.
4 years later.
1998 video game. Yep.
3 years.
So I bet you it borrows some stuff from this anime right here.
And it looked just like it.
That fight scene was really cool, by the way. I remember it being more epic because she really didn't do any damage to the tank. She does a lot of shooting. She loads up rounds like that other guy did. This is kind of weird, like a callback. She loads up armor rounds in her gun, and she even has to like drop her barrel at one time and switch out barrels.
The barrel?
Yeah.
Because if the coolest part of it, I called and told you this. I thought it was a cool detail. She was using high velocity rounds to try to penetrate the spider tank. Well, the reason she's trying to penetrate the spider tank, guys, is so the spider tank won't kill the Puppet Master, because she wants to dive into the Puppet Master. We go into that, okay?
Yeah.
But that's the reason she's fighting this spider tank. So she puts high velocity rounds behind this cement pole and trying to shoot it, and she uses all her ammo. Earlier in the show, Bato, right? Is it Bato? Bato gets the gun from the guy that she kicked ass in the water, the cool scene. And he's looking at the gun, and it's just shot. Like the barrel smoking and all. And he's like, yep, that's what happens whenever you use high velocity rounds and this, So when you see that she starts shooting, and her barrel just drops out and it's just fried. It's because she's using the high velocity rounds. In the detail on that,
really cool.
Do I sound excited? I was like, when I saw that, I was like, man, that cool. I wanted to clap. I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
I
that
loved
detail.
that too, because she had like this suitcase with her that had all these items, and she basically upgraded her gun on the fly.
Yeah.
She drops out of this helicopter onto a roof, and she drops down in this building, and the spider tank is invisible at first. So she gets the guy up in the helicopter to shoot all the glass out of the top of the building, so the glass falls on the spider tank and
smart.
reveals it. Yeah. It was really cool. So she's hiding behind these barriers, and the tank is like just unloading on her. It's got a Gatling gun or something. And eventually it leads up to her doing these like backflips and somersaults in the water all the way, and hops on top of the tank and proceeds to one of the most iconic, coolest scenes ever.
Yes.
Where she's like boobies out, freaking pulling on this tank. You see her back muscles rippling. You see so
using
much
every
detail.
inch of energy she has in resource.
She pulls so hard she rips off her freaking arm. Like it's pulling so hard trying to get the armor off this tank that she pulls off her arm and eventually falls off of the tank, broken and battered. And then the tank grabs her by the head with these claw things and is about to squeeze her head. And at the last minute, Bato arrives with this huge freaking gun and unloads
heavy
on the
machine
tank.
gun thing.
Yeah, and unloads on it, taking the tank down. And then you
know what he says? You remember what he says?
What?
He's like, "Sorry, I took a little bit longer. I had to go back and grab the
Yeah,
weapon."
I had
You
to
know,
grab my
like
gun.
what?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, dude. And dude, like that scene, I remember watching it when I was younger. I think I was at my parents' house. This movie might have come on one of the free movie channels or something, and I was watching it, and I was like, "What the crap is this? This is awesome."
Josh, one scene on that really kind of made it more deep to me, and they kind of showed at the end of the movie. But when the Gatling gun's being fired by the spider tank on this scene, because it's an awesome scene already, but when it fires, there's a tree of life, like engraving on the wall.
Yeah.
And the Gatling, the bullets just kind of go up the wall, up the tree of life, and pretty much just put indents and just annihilates the tree of life. And we'll get into that to the next section that you're about to go into, but there's a reason that they kind of foreshadowed that.
Yeah, dude.
And seeing that, which kind of at the end of the movie, I was like, I get it.
That's
I get
really
why.
good.
Why did they show that? Like they really hit that really hard.
You paid attention, man. That's really cool thing to point out. So Balta arrives just in time to save Kusanagi from the tank, but she insists on connecting her consciousness to the Puppet Master. In the climax, Kusanagi connects to the Puppet Master's consciousness. The Puppet Master proposes that by merging, they will transcend their limitations and create a new entity, free from the constraints of both artificial and biological life. Kusanagi agrees, and just as they merge, Section 6 snipers destroy both of their bodies. So this was a pretty neat moment because the Puppet Master was speaking through Kusanagi's body and
Major's body,
Major's body, yeah. And then Major was inside of the other body looking over at hers, and it was trippy, dude. It was like, what?
And Major could talk to the Puppet Master, but Bato could only hear the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
Could not hear Major. So he's freaking out. Because he helped out at this point. Because if you remember what Josh said, guys, Major's arms were completely and her head was almost squeezed. So
she's
Bato is actually allowing her to jump into the Puppet Master and speak with him.
Yep. And Bato is watching through his like special vision because he's got these eyes, these like weird looking eyes where he's got different vision, and he sees the sniper, I guess the like red dot or the laser on the Major, and at the last minute puts out his arm and I guess deflects the bullet enough where it hits the Major's body and then her head goes flying off. And then you see Bato goes and he picks up the head and he's like, Major, and then you see everything go black for her. Like she sees a little bit and then everything goes dark. And then so both the bodies are destroyed.
Well, on that scene, I just want to point out too is there's a discussion, and I'm gonna go ahead. Guys, this is the biggest spoiler of the whole movie. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. But the discussion is what we go into with what we was talking about with AI, right? About so the deal is the Puppet Master said, hey, the only thing you talk about what it is to be a human. That's the biggest question of the whole movie, I think, right? That's what Major is trying to figure out. That's what AI gain consciousness has figured out, right? So Major wants to ask the Puppet Master, hey, what am I? You know, like what can we do? What's our purpose? You know, what is a purpose of a human? The only thing they can't do is reproduce. They can't reproduce, right?
Yeah.
So that the way he explained it is the genes no matter how bad and all, they reproduce and they go and they die, but the genes never die. Like no
Wow.
matter what their social aspect is, no matter what they think or what they do or how they act, the genes live on,
Mm.
right? So what the way he was proposing is the only way he can reproduce is
Mm-hmm.
by merging with Major. But by doing so, will eventually wipe out the human race
Mm.
because they will be nothing to differentiate them from a human, and they're going to be superior, right, with more
Mm-hmm.
information, unlimited information. So at some point, humans will be wiped out, and that will be
Wow.
the end of the human race, and then it starts the
The
next
next race.
stage. So she had to make an option of like, well, what is, I think she asked, it doesn't sound like a good deal to her,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because she's just being used and merged with him, and he has all this information. And the way he explained it is, don't you want to know all this information? That's your
Yeah.
pro. Like, yes, you have to reproduce and you have to give up what you have, right? With the humans, but don't you want this? The grass is greener on this side,
Yeah. Don't you
you have
want
a
this
purpose.
next step of evolution that we're gonna become?
Yes.
Type
Do you want
deal.
the purpose? I think the
Mm-hmm.
main thing, everybody wants purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll speak about something else in reference to religion, how it ties into this on the next segment
Mm-hmm.
when you go into it.
So that's really well said, dude. So the new entity is this section. After the destruction of their physical forms, Bato retrieves Kusanagi's head and attaches it to a young, childlike cyborg body he has prepared. When Kusanagi wakes up, she now possesses a merged consciousness, an amalgamation of herself and the puppet master. She reflects on her new existence and her expanded sense of self, now free from the constraints of her former identity. So basically, she wakes up in Bato's safe house and she's a child. And I don't know how he has done this, but he has transferred her consciousness into this body that he found off the black market. And she's sitting there talking to him. And,
I think the biggest shocker of it all
Mm-hmm.
is they merged. You find out she
Yeah.
took the deal.
That
She
it
took the
actually
deal.
happened, because in the last moments before she was sniped, you saw it almost looked like an angel came down out of the sky.
Oh, I
And
didn't
it was
notice
real
that.
trippy. Yeah, dude, it looked like an
Yeah.
angel. It was trippy. And I guess in that moment, right before they were destroyed,
Oh.
they actually merged. And
Okay.
so she's sitting there reflecting on everything. And that's what's so crazy, is watching this and then looking back to who I know the Major as far as part of Section 9 and the miniseries that I've watched before. And this just seems like more of an end game, maybe, to her eventual like evolution. And
Yes.
all the things that she's probably been through to lead up to this point. She's probably been in
She has a
so many
purpose now.
battles.
She has a purpose.
Yeah,
And you can tell she has a
Before,
purpose.
she was just this weapon. She was just this item that they were using, and she could never leave because their bodies and everything required a lot of maintenance. And if she ever left, this like specific government entity, she would just die, because she wouldn't have
Yeah.
anybody to do the maintenance on her body. So you lead to this point, and then the ending. The movie ends with the new Kusanagi, no longer just Major Motoko Kusanagi, looking out over the city. She acknowledges the endless possibilities that her new state of being represents, stating, "The net is vast and infinite," indicating her intention to explore this new existence and identity. So, and what's crazy, oh dude, before, when they were on the boat and they hear that voice and they're like, "Dude, was that you? Like, who was that just spoke?" That was a Bible verse that was actually spoken.
I was about to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk about that, because I remember that Bible verse.
So, towards the end of the movie, Kasanagi quotes again from the passage from First Corinthians.
Yeah.
Okay, you notice I'm wearing my little church shirt
nice.
right here. You know, little Second Corinthians.
There
But
you go.
more at length, she says, "When I was a child, I spoke as a child.
Yep.
I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." The irony is, Ghost in the Shell ends the opposite way, with Kusanagi becoming a child and putting away adult things, namely her cyborg body parts, some of which was ripped off or which snipers had blown off after her climatic confrontation with a spider tank. So what do you make of Kusanagi becoming an even younger, doll-eyed cyborg in Ghost in the Shell?
Wow.
So the movie chase scenes and action set pieces belly a deeper meditative quality, and it has an ending that might really fry your cyber brain, especially if you're trying to parse the sci-fi technological through subtitles while keeping an eye on the arresting imagery. So I feel like you can probably elaborate a little bit more on the religion part, but I feel like all things have a faith, right? And have a purpose, right? And I feel like this new person is born, right? This new, like they merged, they're newly born. It's kind of like I took it as like an Adam and Eve, like a new coming, you know, for their society and everything. That's how I took it.
So the first verse that she mentioned when they're on the boat that she heard, or like it spoke out from her ghost or something, was, "What we see now is like a dim image in a mirror, then we shall see face to face." So I think it was talking about when you transcend out of this human body and you actually know who you are in Christ now, is I believe what that Bible verse is referring to. How like right now we only see in part, but eventually we're gonna know, we're gonna see all of these things.
You're gonna see what the purpose is, and that's why I keep going. I know I keep saying this, but like our purpose is not staying here and glory. You know, like our purpose is to go up there. I feel like to heaven, and you'll know what your real purpose is, right? Your purpose is not here on earth and stuff like that. I feel like, you know, you try to, you know, be kind, be good, and all this stuff. We can kind of go into the religion aspect, but kind of like what you're saying, I feel like everything that you're saying with that is it's all about the purpose that you have. That's how I took it.
Yeah, dude, there's a whole interpretation on Reddit that I'm going to read after this that I'm looking at right now.
Go ahead with it.
No, I mean, I don't have to read it now. It's really, really long. But I want to hear more about how you interpreted it. Like, can you expound on that a little bit more?
So the way I looked at it is kind of like when a baby is born.
Yeah.
Right? It's new life. You know, God gave this child life, right? To continue life. Based on the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know, the sacrifice he made for our sins and stuff, right? So this child being born signifies that. It's amazing. It's a miracle that happens. I take it as kind of the same way as what's occurring here when she gets put, and that's why they ended up putting her in a doll, like a teenager, young girl.
She's born again.
She's born again.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's how I interpret it.
She's born again in this new
kind of like the coming of Christ, but in their way.
Kind of like when you're saved, you're born again. You're a new creation in Christ.
You're explaining it a little bit better.
You're a new creation in Christ. So she became a new creation once she accepted this merging with a higher being. She was born again. Wow!
And now she see. And I'm blind, but now I see.
Yeah.
Like she sees now where she's supposed to be. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I interpreted it.
That's crazy. That's really... Dude, this movie got deep, bro.
It got deep at the end. Hey, I'll tell everybody this. I'll be honest with you. So at first, I was just like, I was coming off night shift. I'll be watching. I'll be like, what's going on here? Like, this is super cool, but like, I can't follow. And then, like I talked about when we was talking, in the middle of it, it's like took a turn, and you notice that Major's starting to have issues, selfish issues that she wants to know about herself and her identity and her purpose. So you start paying attention. And by the end of this thing, it's like I said, you can tell I paid attention a lot. And I'm like,
dude.
Man, this meeting, AI taking over, getting a conscious, born again, all this stuff, lighting up the bullets on the family, like you're wiping out the whole tree of life, which is the human race. Because of it's just like
Wow.
everything just lined up perfectly. Like the
Dude.
even the details with the barrel, with the high velocity rounds that it tied back into before. It's just, I got to tell you, man, this movie that you recommended to watch, this anime, it's highly recommended to anybody.
Yeah.
It's a great show. It's a great movie. It has deeper meaning.
Bro,
and there's different takes. What is your take
dude,
on the ending? I'm dying to know.
I really did not get a whole lot from it other than she was turned into this new being. Hearing you explain it and how you made all of the connections, that's what I relate to. This is a story of, to me, it makes me think of how the Holy Spirit and God, like God himself, will line up all these things just so he can meet with you.
Yes.
And this AI in this movie had all these things in place so that he could be in the same place as the Major and finally merge and become one.
Yeah.
He went after her. It's the whole thing of he'll leave the 99 to go after the one. You know, that's the heart of God.
Yep.
And dude, it's really, really cool how this relates to, you know, how God is towards us and how good he is to bring us this new revelation of who we're meant to be, type of deal.
And they mention 1 Corinthians
Yeah.
in this. So why would the director and all that mention that if it didn't have any relevance? That's the way I thought of it.
Wow.
So, guys, if you enjoyed it,
yeah, dude,
let us know. Check out Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it's a top tier anime.
Great. It's great.
I'm glad you told me to do the older anime. I appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to give you on that one.
And I'll kind of end it with this. Ghost in the Shell is a film rich in philosophical themes, exploring the boundaries of humanity, consciousness, and the implications of a society deeply intertwined with technology. Its influence on cyberpunk and science fiction storytelling remains significant to this day. Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, that's episode 48. We're going to end it at this point. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We enjoyed y'all stopping in, listening to all of that. If you liked what you heard, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let us know. Make sure you share, follow, hit that like button, smash that like button. I don't care. Do whatever you need to do. But we appreciate everything.
Thanks, everybody. Woo!